Would you be upset if you just lived your life however you want to, not knowing about heaven and hell or Jesus or God, and then die and then wake up in a place of torment for an eternity? You know what eternity means, forever, right? Would you be upset with no warning at all? I mean, I know my answer. I would be very upset. Aloha, I'm responding to a comment today to you. I'm not sure your name, but I'm not calling you out or anything at all, but this is a very common kind of thing with Christians. People think that Christians force our beliefs on somebody else, and you're bringing up a really good point, and that's why I wanted to reply with the video. I'm really not, again, gotta clarify, I'm not judging you at all. I actually was like you. I made comments like this before, and I grew up Christian, and I sound like Paul from the Bible now. I grew up Christian, but I fell away because I felt like Christians were hypocrites. But I accepted Christ last year when I finally understood why and the meaning of all of this. I took the time to understand God, and I gave him the time of day to pretty much explain himself. And now I'm in a place where I'm like, oh, it makes so much sense. So I do want to clarify out there to you that preaching is love. Warning is love. Preaching is basically a warning. Let me ask another question and bring another analogy. For parents out there having an infant, a baby, a baby, as babies, we're innocent, we're doing whatever, and I've never had a kid, but I know how it is. Obviously, I was a baby before, but babies, they reach out and touch and curious, and parents, of course, they're always, oh gosh, the parents are always, like, say a baby is gonna reach out and touch a hot pot or put their hand on a stove. What are you gonna do? Take that hand away. Why do you do that? Why? I'm asking you as a parent, why do you take your baby's hand away from that stove, that hot stove? You love them, right? You don't want them to get hurt, but you are protecting them. Let's say a toddler, for example. Toddler, at that stage, you can talk to them, okay? And they're about to reach for the hot pot, and you tell them, don't do it, you're gonna burn yourself. What are they gonna do? They're gonna do it. But why are you telling them that? Why even bother? Why don't you just let them touch the hot pot? It's because you love them, right? You don't want to see them get hurt. You don't want them to get hurt at all. And you know the outcome. You know they're gonna get hurt once they touch that hot stove or hot pot, because you've lived in this world enough to know that that is going to cause a burn, a pain. So think about Christians. We are simply warning. We may seem like we're forcing beliefs on somebody else and trying to convince somebody, but it's because we love God so much and know his personality, we have a deep relationship with him, that we can't stop talking about him, and we want other people to feel that way. But at the end of the day, we are not pushing. As Christians, we have we can't force somebody to do anything. You still have free will to believe us or not. You still have free will to listen to us or not, or do your own thing. We can lead a person to water, but we can't make them drink. We can convince somebody. Same thing with ads, okay? People pay a lot of money to put their name brand on a basketball court in the Chase Center or whatever. No one asks for commercials. Everybody hates commercials, but we do that. They bombard us with commercials anyway. No one asks for Christian comments, but we do it anyway. I'm gonna post a video. Nobody asks you to comment, but you do it anyway. You guys only target when people put Christian comments on there. No one says anything when somebody leaves a good job comment. Nobody tells that person, oh, no one asked for your great comment. You always only target Christians, and there's a reason for that. That's the devil. They do that because they know that is going to bring in money, but they can't force people to go buy that product of their name brand, of their company. They can't force, but they can influence. When an advertisement comes up, people are showing you the product. People are so proud of what they created, whatever, and they're talking about the product. Obviously, they want you to buy the product, but they can't force you to buy it. You make that choice to go buy it, but we can influence you. That's what influences, why can't I speak? That's what influencers do. I also want to bring one last analogy to end this video. So, say that you love somebody so much. Can you stop talking about them? Say that you love something, a product so much, you designed it or whatever. Can you stop talking about it? If you love a spouse, your boyfriend, you're in love, and you just can't help but talk so good about that person, like, can you stop talking about the person if you love somebody so much? Think about people when they're doing their vows, writing about that other person. Oh, this person changed me or made me a better person, blah, 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 blah. They love that person. That's why they want to display. They can't stop talking about it. That's what us as Christians do. We preach because of love, because we love God so much. We understand what He's been doing all along, and we want other people to feel the same way. But we can't force that other person to feel that same way, but we can't help but talk about Him. So the thing is, when you draw closer to God, it says it in the Bible, when you draw closer to God, He will draw closer to you. When you have interest in Him, He will be more interested in you. And when you get to know God more, He's going to give you gifts, not because you earned it or anything. That's why it's called a gift. It's not something you earn, but it's a blessing. It's something that He gives. And if you look in the spiritual gifts in the Bible, in Corinthians, it lists out all the spiritual gifts that come out when you draw closer to Him and have a relationship with Him. Preaching is one of them. And these gifts are not to exalt, or these are like pretty much superpowers that only come straight from God. But it's not to exalt and show off that you have this ability. You don't have this ability on your own. You can't have it without God. But the main point I want to make is that these gifts, like preaching, don't come out unless there's love. And it stems from love. God is love. He's the one who created love too. But when you love something back, when you love something so much, naturally the love comes out. Naturally you start talking about, you can't stop talking about something, or talking about that great love or great person that you love so much, or great thing. It just comes out naturally as Christians. The more we draw closer and have a relationship with Him, the more that we preach and can't stop talking about Him. It's like a love language, basically. This gift of preaching, spiritual gift of preaching, comes from God, and true wisdom comes from God. These are all supernatural. And I want to end with when I said that God is speaking to me, or I understand God more. God can speak to you. He does speak to you in your thoughts, and so can the devil. So me talking is coming from Him. The more you draw closer to Him, the louder the thoughts of Him come out more. And if you are farther away from Him or don't want to have anything to do with Him, the louder the thoughts, and the more you are influenced and are drawing closer to thoughts of the devil in your mind, and the more you speak on those thoughts. It's not force at all. You are choosing this on your own without even knowing it. You are allowing yourself to be influenced by the world and influenced by the devil. The world, the prince of this world, is the devil. And us as human beings, we come into this world perfect, but we are naturally more drawn to sin, because sin always looks good in the beginning but ends up in destruction and ends up being terrible. And the thoughts and things of God, the reason why we don't want to listen to Him, because it always looks terrible in the beginning but leads to prosperity. So that's why we're more drawn to the thoughts of the devil. but it's deceitful. An example of a sin would be people peer pressuring you to get drunk. Overconsumption of alcohol is a sin because you're losing your control and giving your control to the devil, and that's why it leads to destruction. It ends up you will get a DUI. Chances you'll get a DUI and hurt somebody else. That's what sin is. It's great in the beginning, fun, drinking, partying, letting loose, whatever. But when you overdo it, because alcohol is not bad, Jesus drank wine, but overconsumption of it will lead to destruction. That's why when you're drunk, you make bad decisions, and you could get a DUI and end up in a car crash or whatever. That's why you're not supposed to drive drunk. So, hope this makes sense. Yeah, God bless. Aloha.